Activate party mode.
A-firm, party mode engaged.
Welcome to Party Mode, the F1 podcast with no limits. I am Jethro Bovingdon, and I am joined by my good friends Matthew Collins and Charlie Curtis. And there's a lot to discuss after a very, very fiery Austrian Grand Prix. Not everyone, many people lost their heads. Some things caught fire, but Lando was cool as a cucumber. It was actually super cool. But let's talk. Should we talk F1 race, or should we just talk about our lives for a little bit, guys? How do you feel?
Last week I had an incredible. The kids were gone, so it was just Erica and I.
God, the dream.
It was insane. It was insane. And the weekend before, she was gone too. So I was in my house with not one other body in there. No noise. There's a dog, but no noise unless I made it. No mess unless I made it. You know, it was wild for 48 hours. And then Erica came back. We went to the screening of the F1 movie. Went out to eat a bunch and relax. It was incredible. And then jumped right back into another baseball weekend.
Do you have that moment, which I often have, and this is awful and it sounds patronizing to people who don't have kids, but my thought always of like, what do people do who don't have kids? How do they fill their days? It's just this amazing life where you just do whatever you want to do at any precise moment. What a way to live.
The opposite of my regular day. My regular day is trying desperately to squeeze in one thing that I want to do, and it doesn't work. But every other minute is planned and scheduled, and I have to be at a certain place, bringing someone or something somewhere. And it's the opposite. I'm like, what? I have to fill this time. I can't just sit here. I have to do something. And I don't remember being bored before kids. I don't know what I did, but like, it just seems like, what am I going to do with all of this free time?
You must have that, Matt, because you've just had your first kid, and do you already are like, what did I do? Yeah, what did I do before this?
Like, so it was weird because I've become accustomed with over 40 years of not having a child and not being responsible for anything else. And that was the first thing I realized. I'm like, oh, so never again do I really get to wake up and not have responsibility for anything. Like, it's just like, no, if I go out and have a few too many drinks, no, I don't get to sleep in. I don't get to try to write off a day, even if I have nothing planned. Like, we're going to Canada for our like annual cottage trip in 2 weeks. And I'm like starting to realize I'm like, this is going to be different. Then also my daughter started walking last Tuesday. So she's been now walking for a week, and now she's like starting to kind of hobble run, like not a run, but like getting quicker. And so now it's like a whole new thing. It's amazing. She doesn't want to crawl anymore. She just wants to walk. But then at the cottage, it's just, there's a lot of death traps.
Yeah.
And so we're going to see.
You're in it now. Yeah. You go from like zero cares and zero responsibility, not to just like, I've got stuff to do. It's like, I have to prevent death happening at every turn. It's like, it's quite a culture shock. Well, I admire you for still going on the holiday, because it can be easy to be like, do you know what? I'm just going to be in my home environment where it's easy and not do that stuff. But you have to still enjoy it.
But I'm really lucky. But I'm with like people, like we're really lucky that first of all, my best friend who cottage we go to, they don't have kids. So for them to optionally choose their summer holiday to have, what is it? 6 children from all ages come and spend their summer holiday with them. They're amazing. And they're also very helpful. And then like Charlie and Erica and Ryan and Amy, who we're going with, we couldn't have more helpful friends with our child. So that is a relief. You don't want to like push it on them, but like, we know it's their option. They want to hold seats. They want to interact with her. And that is a relief. We know we have good friends, and the kids want to play with her the whole time. So they're of that age that they can help. And we have an older one that's like 16 now that can babysit. So it's great.
This is good. This is sounding like a pretty good holiday, actually. So,
and it's her birthday. So the first day we get there, she's a 7-Eleven baby. So we have like 7-Eleven is sending us tons of merch and setup. So he has a little bar set up on his property. We're going to decorate it like a 7-Eleven. He's got a slushy maker, a hot dog machine. It's going to be, she's not going to care or know what's happening. But for us, we're really excited about it.
That's awesome.
Wow. I
can't wait.
What about you, Charlie? What did you end up doing with a week of no children? Did you just not do anything of any note? Just enjoy the peace?
I mean, Erica was working. I was working. We had a regular week in that regard, but every night we did something. Went out to dinner at a place that we don't normally go to. We saw some friends on Sunday. Yeah, we did dinners every night. Saw the movie. Oh, we saw another movie 28 years later, too. So we saw 2 movies, bunch of dinners.
I want to see that.
So nothing crazy, but we made sure to get out of the house because, like you said, it is so easy when you don't have to do something to just bow out. Like, I don't
nothing.
And we had a long time, so like we could always do something tomorrow. It doesn't have to be today, but we made sure we at least got out of the house and went to dinner. So it was nice. And then this weekend we had baseball tournaments for both kids, both days. The last one ending yesterday at 5:30 p.m. So it was right back in. For me. It was right back in.
I can't imagine.
But at least
worse.
Wilder, my younger one, won.
Literally.
He won the whole thing, so it makes it worth it. I was like, all right, if we're going to be here this long, you better win this thing because I don't want to stay here and lose.
I'm on a Ferrari launch, a launch for a new car. I'm at a racetrack called Misano. I can see the sea actually from here, which is rather nice. But they made me sign a piece of paper without really pointing out. I go on all these events, and there's always indemnities, track indemnity. Sign this, sign the other, and you just sign it because I don't really care, and because I work for somebody, I know they're sort of taking the responsibility anyway. But they had an embargo form. So this car, we're allowed to release the video and article, I think, next Thursday at like 6 p.m. in the UK, because it's going to be at Goodwood, the Festival of Speed, the big event at Lord March's place. But the embargo, if we break it, and it's in my name, I believe, if I break it, I'm liable for €250,000. And I'm like, guys, like, I don't even have control over when it's pressed live. It's literally someone working in an office in London who works for Top Gear on the digital team or whatever. I was like, I literally have no control. You can't sue me for 250 grand if they press the go button like 2 hours early or something. But it's been fun. It's their new super high end car. So, it's been a long day. It's like, I'm sure, is it hot out there? It's like, I think it was 39 degrees C or something today. And we're like on the racetrack. So it's like unbelievably hot, but it's been a really fun day. Typical launch of a high value car.
Can you say how much this car was going to be worth?
I think in the US it's $4 million. So it's a lot of cash, but when you have these high end cars, it's such a tricky situation, because on the one hand, all these engineers here, and they're lovely, amazing people. They've poured like 5 or 6 years of their professional life into this thing, and they want you to experience it, which is really cool. But on the other hand, because it's valuable, because there's not many of them, etc., the press department don't obviously want the cars to get damaged. They don't want, so you end up with, you want to create something spectacular, but because of the value, and they want you to as well, but because of the value of the car, they don't want to give you as much access to it as they would a normal, let's say, $400,000 Ferrari or whatever. So it's always this really difficult political situation. And I tried to be, I guess I tried to be super patient about it and be like, I know it's a really cool thing to be here, but also like, I really want to do a good job and I'm being paid by someone else to do it. So it needs to be high quality. So you're always in this, like, I want to be polite, but I also want to say, for fuck's sake, just give us the car for another half an hour. Yeah. Like it will help so much with what we're trying to do. So so I've been going through that today, but it's been cool. It's just been like unbelievably hot. I just got back about 45 minutes ago, I guess. So, but it's cool. Italy's lovely. Do you want to do F1 movie or F1 race? F1 movie.
Let's do movie.
Let's do movie. We all saw it, right?
Charlie saw it, and then he sent me like this message just before I watched it. He's like, "I'm interested to see how you feel about this," and I was like, "This is such a cryptic message." I don't know if Charlie hated this or he loved it or what's. It's like our race cryptic thing. Be like, "Have you watched the race?" Is the only thing we're allowed to say. So I was like, maybe it's just that. I don't know, but I want to now that I know it. Charlie, you go first.
I mean, first, I really liked it. And I can give a little insight. I went with Erica, who has maybe watched 10 laps of Formula One ever in her life, roughly knows who the celebrity drivers are, but no one else. She liked it too. So they're, from a non-fan, she enjoyed it. But I really liked it. It's tricky because they needed to make a good movie, and some of the things in Formula One aren't made for movies. And so there were some pieces that they fudged, like, oh, that would never really happen in a race. But I think we talked about it before. There was a lot of strategy, a lot of actual racing. Like the races were longer. It wasn't like a 30-second montage of the race. It was long. Each race was long, and you saw different strategies and things. So I think they were trying to kind of balance and give race fans enough, but also make it still a compelling, funny thing. I mean, like when Brad Pitt's sitting in there arguing about tires, and he's not going to leave until they put on the new tires. It's like, okay. Or when he's crashing out, he's just getting new tires and crashing someone for a safety car several times. Like, okay, well, they would have shut this down at some point, but
he would have had a race ban for sure.
They would have just yanked him. So, but I really liked it. I thought the footage was really, really cool. It was also fun to see. And we saw this when they were filming during that season, but Brad Pitt and that other guy are on the grid with the actual drivers of that season. So like he's standing next to Sergio and he's standing next to Max and all of that. And I thought it was cool to see all those guys. It was fun that they included bits from like the team principals, like they interviewed them as part of the movie. I don't know. I thought it was
Fred Vasseur. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was really cool how they integrated all of the real Formula One world into a movie that was totally fictional. But what do you guys think?
I laughed when they did. They were like, it was in the race, and they said, he just opened the drag reduction system. Like, they've never said the full term. They've only ever said DRS. And I was like, oh, that's because you're explaining what, like, no one's going to know that isn't a fan what DRS is. And then, like, the Parc Fermé thing where, like, he obviously wouldn't have been allowed at the car at that point. He didn't compete in qualifying. I was sad there wasn't qualifying parts in it because like that's such an incredible part of racing. But we all know if that happened, it would have immediately needed to be like, I kind of now wish that this would have been a very expensive Apple TV 6-episode series. Because then you could have added the qualifying in there. You could have added a little bit. And that's the only reason I think it could have been better is if it was just 2 hours longer. But as we know, you can't make a movie 5 hours. So like, I get it. I think the only things that were like altered or made to be more Hollywood was just because it had to be. I think they did justice to what F1 is.
Yeah, I agree.
Jethro.
I loved
it. Okay. Well, as the purist of the group, I really liked it. I thought it was really, really cool. I really enjoyed it. I thought this sounds so pathetic, but it was really cool to see F1 celebrated and held up as something special in the way that you've seen boxing movies or any of these big sports. And F1's never had something, I don't think, that's that impressive, that really beautifully shot and lionized into this heroic thing. And I really, really enjoyed that element of it. I had a couple of laugh out loud moments, like the big crash cracked me up because it was just like flying through the air and that made me laugh. And I felt the commentary as well. It felt a little bit like the commentary is obviously there to help people along. The safety car means that you can make a pit stop and save and not lose as much time, etc. That has to be explained, but it felt a bit like video game commentary. Do you know what I mean? It felt like it could be a video game. So, but despite all those little things, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I thought the footage was spectacular. The cars
So good.
looked cool. Seeing Brad and the other guy, we keep calling him the other guy, which is terrible. But anyway,
Damson Idris.
Yeah, that's it.
Damson Idris.
Damson Idris. Yeah.
Also, he's on a show called Snowfall that I watched that I suggest watching. He was a star in it, and it was a show that not a lot of people watched on FX. It was fucking amazing. He did such.
Yeah, I think he was really good as well. But seeing them amongst the grid was good. The only thing, and I absolutely get why, they were in the world, but they weren't quite. What I wish there was like the cool down room chat and stuff like that. That would have been really to have the drivers in. And I'm sure it's very hard for anyone to be an actor who's not an actor, and it could have turned out bad. I thought Zach was actually really good. Zach Brown,
I did too.
Just seemed like Zach Brown. He just was totally the same. Toto was not quite so good, but it's hard. Like I've never had to act, and I imagine it's bloody hard. But yeah, I wish there was a little bit more in the cool down room, them joking with each other or whatever, when they started to get more successful. But I loved it. I was really pleasantly surprised. I took my son, he's like 13. He's into F1, but not loads. He'll watch the odd race with me. And we came out and he was like, that was actually really good. And which was exactly what was going through my brain. We had exactly the same thought. So it was cool.
I loved the beginning, the 24 Hours of Daytona. I loved that stuff with those cars. That was like shot so cool. And I don't know, I wish there was maybe another half hour of him on that circuit, but it was so rad. And then at the end, he's going to the Baja. Like, I don't know. Brad Pitt's the man.
I hope it does make people think you can do cool car movies, because people do shy away from motorsport and stuff. It is a hard thing to capture and it's complex and everything. But yeah, I agree. The Daytona stuff was great. Seeing the Porsche, I watched it in IMAX, like seeing the Porsche come down off the jacks, slide out of the pit lane. I was like, wow, this is properly cool. It's awesome.
Was really cool.
Yeah. And Brad, I didn't think, oh, Brad Pitt seems too old. No, nothing jarred in that respect. It was just Brad Pitt's just fucking cool. Whatever he's doing, he's cool. He doesn't look like he's trying. It felt genuine. You know the footage, the crumpled body on the ground and the car that's cut in half. His older, that's for real. Like that's real. That's Martin Donnelly, who was driving for Lotus at the time. That's a real. It's an iconic image from F1.
That's so scary. I was definitely like, it hit my heart when I saw that, because I was like, ooh.
Yeah, that happened for it. He survived, and he nearly lost. I don't know if he nearly lost both legs, a leg, whatever, but he didn't. And he's, I see him weirdly on the odd job, because he'll be like an instructor for Lotus. So you go and pick up a Lotus, and he might be there showing you around the track and stuff like that. So they used quite a lot of real stuff from history and weaved it into their story. The big crash was obviously meant to be like Romain Grosjean's huge crash the other year out of the fire. So I just thought these guys actually bothered to research what F1's all about, and they portrayed it in as genuine a way as you could in a movie without it just becoming incredibly dry. So yeah, I thought it was great.
I think they can do, like, there's been rumbles of a second one, and I think this is a series that could go kind of like Fast and Furious, where like you could do 5 of them and they'd all be fucking awesome.
Yeah. I just wonder if it's such a huge undertaking. But I like the idea of Brad Pitt's character going through different things. Like the next one could be a Baja thing and have a bit of F1 in it as well. Like it was really, really cool.
Yeah. And then he'll take over as team principal next one, because the other guy has a family issue. And then like the next year he owns a team. And I think it could be really fun to see that progression.
I like it.
Who knew? I really surprised myself. I thought I was going to give it a 3.5 star, didn't I? But I would give it 4.5 probably. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'd recommend it to, like, I came out and I'm at a car event, obviously, and they're all like a bit cynical about it, as I was. And they were like, so is it actually watchable? Should I go? And I was like, 100% go. Like, go and watch it on IMAX. I would not hesitate to recommend it to car people, non-car people. I thought it was great. It was really cool.
And what we're seeing online right now is now moving into like the race is everyone was like, for everyone that watched the F1 movie and is now a fan of F1, and then you just watch this race, they're not all that good. So it's like don't get your hopes at coming in. Like, thank God that didn't happen, and then it was Monaco, because people are like, wait, what? This is not
what happened.
What's happening?
Yeah.
There was like safety cars and crashes, and like everything that you wanted of a race was this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. What a place to be a fan of F1. I'd love to go to that race. You can see so much of the track. There's like, I mean, it feels like the entire circuit is a DRS zone. So, which is what allowed Norris to just basically follow Lando for 20 laps, to have a go a couple of times. Got past him once, didn't he? Nearly crashed into him once. And it was great. It was the middle bit went a little bit slow, but that's fair enough. Like, but the beginning and the first 20 laps were mega. The last 15 were great. It was a really good Grand Prix.
Yeah, I love it. Like Carlos Sainz pulling the Sunny right off the bat, like right after the F1 movie, he like can't get off the grid. I was like, this is insane. This is, especially because he was kind of a little critical of the movie, the only one that was a little critical, and then he pulls the movie stunt.
Yeah.
He had a nightmare of a weekend. Qualified in 19th, then couldn't get off the grid for the formation lap. Then his car just exploded. It's like all within.
He's in the car at the end of the pit lane, and he's like, I can't move the car, guys. And it's like, no, it's on fire. Get out of the car.
Yeah,
get out of the car.
That was insane, and that was my P10 pick. So
Yeah. And he was saying before, he was like, generally it takes about 10 races to get used to a new car. So people were like, this is it. Like, he's now going to be comfortable in this car. And nope, did not go well. Did not go well for Williams in general.
I was going to say, Albon didn't have much better luck, and which is crazy because he was so good last year, so consistent and solid, and he's kind of fallen off.
I don't really understand the science situation. It's like I say, it's so hard to. I was having this discussion last night with some people, the Ferrari people, and we were talking about how do you tell who the best driver is. Like, it looks like Max, you can see, like head and shoulders at the moment, better than everyone else. But Sainz was really close to Leclerc when he's at Ferrari, and you think, wow, he's going to go and boss Albon, no problem at Williams. Then he gets to Williams, and he's generally been behind Albon, a couple of times not. And it's such a complex sport. And I guess the F1 movie did do a pretty good job of showing the complexity and the upgrades. And it's just like, it seems more complex than ever and more driver specific. So if you get your car into a window that suits that particular driver, they shine, and the other one might fall off, and then it can switch around. And that's sort of what we've seen with Lando and Oscar. Lando wasn't comfortable with the car at the beginning of the season. It was quick, but he didn't get the feeling he wanted from it. They've tweaked some suspension geometry, I think it is, to give him a bit more steering feel. And suddenly, I mean, his qualifying lap was outrageous, wasn't it?
Insane. Yeah, he looked good all weekend. He needed it.
He did.
And he looked good. I still like that they let those two guys race. There was that one radio call where he's like, let's not do that again. But other than that, they let him race, which was great. And, that's what we want to see. Like, especially now, one of them will run away with the Drivers' Championship and one the constructor. But it would just be so much more of a boring season if the team decided, hey, this is our guy to win. This is our guy for second. And like, that would be boring. So I do appreciate that they're still letting him race. Got dicey there when Lando came. He was really close, or I guess Oscar was really close to doing what Lando did last race.
He was.
But they recovered. I mean, and then what was that? It was Colapinto forced Oscar off the track.
Yeah.
And
he didn't even know he was there.
That could have been,
which you got to know.
That was fun at the end too. And it was Lando and Oscar, and in the middle of them were Alonso and Colapinto.
Lap cars.
Yeah. The two middle the lap cars were also racing for points. And then you had the leaders racing. And so like you couldn't let one guy pass and just be too nonchalant about it, because then the guy you're actually racing is going to pass you. And it was like, it was fun watching that. But that track is just so rad.
Yeah. I liked
It's
how,
so
like,
bad.
with McLaren and their engineers, they're like giving, like, obviously both teams are pinned against each other in the best way
Really?
possible.
Yeah.
Like, they're giving each other tips to, like, pass the other car, which, like, we don't see in other cars because there's always a true choice. And all the other teams are like, they must pick a number one driver. They got to do it. And it's like, they're doing this in a good way. And it's because, like when Max was running away with the championship, it's not like Checo's up there making it fun. At least that
Yep.
two cars are pulling away from everyone else. At least there's a battle there and it's not boring.
Yeah.
And for them, it's
cool.
got to be fun. Like racing like toe to toe for so long has to just be so much fun for them.
I have to say, Lando's start from the beginning, qualifying lap was unbelievable, and he just monstered everyone. And I know there was a yellow flag which prevented Piastri, but there's no way. He wasn't close. Verstappen wasn't close either. It was going to be, it might not have been half a second. It was going to be 3-4 tenths, like for sure. Lando was in basically a class of one in qualifying. And then the race, the jeopardy of having Lando in the lead, because basically Piastri qualified third, didn't he? He gets past Leclerc at corner one, so you know it's on. And I'm thinking, this is pressure. This is a lot of pressure. Piastri's got all the advantage of DRS, and yet he'd get DRS every lap, but Lando was just pulling a little bit. And I was like, oh, he's so close to being out of DRS. He was like 0.99 or something. But then he ran wide, and it brought Oscar all the way back. So all that hard work was gone, and then he had to do it again and pull. And I was like, he didn't make an error really. He had one like slightly loose moment, I think. And but that's, I mean, everyone has talked about Lando's mental toughness, but that would be such a shot in the arm for him. He must have gained so much confidence because he just had his number and he didn't flinch. He did not flinch once. It was really impressive.
Yeah, you're right. There's somehow more pressure when you're leading like that than if you're coming from behind. And it wasn't like Oscar worked his way. It was from turn one, he was right on his tail at the whole race. And so, yeah, it did feel like it was a higher pressure situation for Lando to keep that lead. And like you said, there was no room for error. He didn't have a lot of cushion. So
no,
running too wide or losing it in one turn, that would have cost him. So
to stay ahead, that is such a high proportion of the lap is DRS, the highest of the year. To stay ahead despite that, I thought was bloody impressive. Like, he was using his battery really well. He was positioning his car really well. He was, at the end of the lap, he was pulling a big margin, so he wasn't as vulnerable down the straights. And it was smart and great, car control and driving on the limit as well. It was like he was using his brain and his senses really, really well. So I thought he did great. I think we should probably talk about who didn't do so well, which would be Antonelli, I'm afraid, wouldn't it? It was a proper dive bomb, wasn't it?
I mean, it was a T-bone. He just went straight into the side, didn't bother to turn, just kept on going. Yeah, that was what, turn three? So they all made it through turn 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And then they're coming
Looks
up
safe.
the hill. And yeah, I mean, he just clearly didn't brake in time. And everyone else is stopping. He weaved out to get around and dodge the first couple cars and then just right into the side of Max. His home race already wasn't having a great weekend. Would he qualify 7th? So not great, but for him, anything's possible. And just that was it for both of them out. And a bummer for Antonelli too, because he has been doing so well. He's been so consistent, and lap one just that was a bummer.
And he said he locked the rear, didn't he? But he sort of did, but he was still just going way too fast. It was more than a simple, I locked the rear and then I was in trouble. It was like, no, you'd forgotten there was a corner coming up, I think, at that point.
Yeah.
But I think Max was pumped. I think he got to go watch the 24 Hours of Spa. So I think that's all he wanted to do.
You know what's interesting is he did not seem as mad as I thought he was going to be, and he did not seem as mad as he has been for smaller things.
Yeah.
And he went over there and was talking to him. Who knows what he said, but like it seemed pretty calm. Wasn't yelling at him. He wasn't like storming over to the car. Anything I saw after the crash, Max seemed totally fine. Like, maybe you're right. He was like, nah, screw it. But well, I guess we'll talk about the contract thing, but maybe his little contract clause that I've heard about has something to do with his feeling.
He's like, I kind of hope I go down a bit. Yeah.
But he
probably he probably paid Antonelli $1 million just to run into him because he knows that this weird clause is there. He's like, thanks, dude. Appreciate it.
Yeah. He was telling him that was perfect. Like, didn't hurt me. We're both out of here.
Yeah.
Nice
Looked
shot.
real accidental. It was perfect.
Okay, so the story of the race was Lando holds on, Oscar second, gaps down to 15 points at the front, but still significant. But Lando looks like he's got some confidence back. So we'll see if that continues at Silverstone, where confidence is definitely king through the high-speed corners. McLaren should be absolutely, I suspect, way ahead of everyone again because they're so good in high speed. But yeah, there's a lot of other stuff to chat about. So what do you want to go to first?
We got Liam Lawson. Liam Lawson did really well. Like, that's his best race he's had in a long time. And then poor fucking Yuki. Like, the Racing Bulls are just destroying him. Like, he seems so defeated. And that car is obviously shit. And the only person that's able to figure it out is Max. Like, they've got to figure out a way to adjust that car to help him out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Lawson was he outqualified Verstappen even, didn't he? So he was the highest placed Red Bull driver.
Which is real crazy.
And he did brilliantly. But Yuki, I just don't get it. It's a mystery to me. And he was lapped twice. I mean, he was lapped twice. Just think about that. That
2.5 minutes, 2:15 slower.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
You wouldn't expect, Haas at their worst to get lapped twice almost. Do you know what I mean? And it's a shocker, absolute shocker.
They're not Kick Sauber is whatever the fuck they're called. Like, there's 100 names. Are doing like we're both in the top 10. It's
suddenly on it. Yeah.
What?
They've had an upgrade, haven't they? Hulkenberg's been on it basically the whole year anyway, but now Bortoletto.
And Bortoletto looked good.
I think he's a good driver. I think he's a really good driver.
I like seeing when him and Alonso were going at it, and Alonso was like his manager, and I'm like, this is so fun to know that you represent him, and he's coming up on your ass.
And then we also had Yuki. It was Yuki that took out Gasly? Just spun him out. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Yuki's race was just another one to forget, wasn't it? Just absolute shocker. A shocker. I don't know what they'll do.
It's too late now to do anything, right? Like, you're going to go through a third driver? And they can't go back to Lawson, right?
They've said they're going to give him till the end of the year.
Yeah, the end of the year.
But let's say he qualifies 18th at Silverstone, and then he qualifies 20th like the next race. They can't continue forever if there's no even inkling that there's going to be an upturn. And I'm not blaming him. There's something weird about that seat. I don't know what it is. I don't know if like Jos Verstappen's done a deal with the devil or something, so that anyone who steps in it immediately they have a talent.
Jos has a little Yuki voodoo doll that he's like poking the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but there's something mysterious going on there. But yeah, my feeling is they will be patient, but not for that long. Not if he's 18th. Different if he's 10th, 9th, 8th, whatever. But 18th, 19th, 20th, you can't be patient. That's just money. That's just money you're burning. It's not like having a 2-car team.
They're not going to finish in the top 3 in the constructors, which is insane. You have the best driver. You have what was the best car for the last 5 years. And you're not even going to get top 3 to a Ferrari team that's not that great and a rookie driver on Mercedes. Like, I don't know. It's not a good look. Which Ferrari, by the way, had a great comeback weekend. Qualified in P2, P4, finished in P3, P4, which is got to be their best outing all around.
It's sort of bittersweet for them, isn't it? Because it was good positions, but still a way back. I mean, it still feels like a mountain to climb for them to be on McLaren pace. So, yeah, it was encouraging, and they upgraded to the new floor and everything, and it's clearly worked, but it is still a big deficit. And at this point in the season, are they all just switching their attention to 26? And at which point we've just got to hope that Lando and Oscar keep doing what they were doing at the front, because that's a hope for really good races. And maybe Williams, that's why they've dropped off. They've just stopped developing the car. Everyone else around them's developed a little bit because Williams are concentrating on 26, and they've sort of fallen off a cliff, haven't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, complex times for these new rules coming in.
I did like, I liked when it was, I guess, before the second pit stop of Lewis, and he asked, "Can we stay out? Like, how are my time? Can we stay out?" He didn't want new tires, and they just kept saying, "Nope, bring it in." And even when he was getting everything changed, like, "I don't want new tires. I don't want them." Like, box. They just kept telling him to come in. They have not been on the same page all year.
He was closer, but he still didn't look particularly happy, did he? I think it's just not quite right there for him at the moment.
No, and like you said, even though their finishing positions were good on paper, they didn't feel anywhere close to being in the top two.
No, McLaren are in a different league at the moment.
Let's go to some gossip before we hit into the new tracks. So one of my favorite things that was said by Oscar after he got run off the road by the Alpine is he said, "So Alpine still manages to fuck me after all these years, huh?" And like in the calmest voice, it's just like pure Oscar gold. The kid is so calm, doesn't even care. He knows he could have had a chance to fight for the win, and he's just like dropping that. Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite driver.
That was good. I enjoyed that.
And then in the cool down room, we had Charles was saying how when he saw that Oscar almost went into Lando, he was just in his car being like, yeah. Just rooting for them to crash, because I'm sure he's like remembers Canada and he's like, this has the chance for me to get first in this race. Like, this is my opportunity, but it didn't.
The only opportunity. That was his only chance. That exact.
I don't think they're done. I don't think they're done crashing into each other yet. There's going to be another flashpoint. There's got to be. There's going to be another big flashpoint. They're too close. I think the way the cars seem to run together, I can't see how this doesn't come to a head again. So I look forward to that.
And they seem performance-wise even very, very similar. Like this weekend in qualifying, Lando was significantly faster, but generally speaking, it's always both of them have a chance. Both of them have a chance to put it on pole. Both of them have a chance to win, and they're just pretty equal, and they're both really good. So I don't think that action will slow down anytime soon.
No,
I think
it won't,
and
it will be traffic. Anything can make a big difference. So I think they're going to be close together on the track always. So good for us, hopefully, because the rest of the teams are struggling.
A little gossip on we touched on earlier, but on Max and Mercedes. They apparently Toto has confirmed that they're in talks. Red Bull claims that he's there till 2028, no matter what. But then I read that it's rumored that in Max's contract, if he finishes outside the top two, I think, or top three, that he has an opt-out clause. So if he doesn't finish in the top three this year, apparently he has the option to look elsewhere. So that's kind of interesting. Nothing firm, obviously, and we won't know anything firm probably ever. But Toto did say that he was talking to him. I think George referenced it too, that he knew Max had been talking to Mercedes. So that could be interesting.
And the truth is, these contracts, they're just pieces of paper that if someone wants something to happen, they make it happen. If a driver wants to go, if someone's willing to buy them out of that contract, it's going to happen. So it'll be fascinating to see. It will be fascinating to see. But Red Bull, slight turmoil really definitely with all that Yuki stuff. There is one more rumor which I saw today, and that is that I don't know if you guys had this, but Bottas might be in the hunt, not for the Cadillac seat that we've been talking about, but much sooner be in the Alpine, because they're talking if they get rid of Colapinto, rather than going back to a young driver like Jack Doohan or someone untested, there is a potential for Bottas to find
That
himself
would be fun.
in a race seat again, which would be cool. I think.
I
That would be fun.
I think I still feel sorry for Jack Doohan. I feel like he actually, in hindsight, even at the time, I was saying he's doing a good job. He's close to Gasly. Okay, he's made some rookie errors, but he is a rookie in a difficult car in the middle of the pack where there's always a chance of collisions, crashes, stuff like that. So everything
in the middle of the pack that's jammed with other rookies, 5 other rookies.
Yeah.
You know, so like, it's not the easiest situation.
Yeah, so I feel bad for him. I think Colapinto has not been as good as Doohan, honestly. So by their logic, much as I'd like to see both those guys get a fair run, by their logic and how they're operating, you would think Colapinto is vulnerable. And if Bottas came in, that would be pretty cool. That'd be a great story.
Yeah, 100%.
So there you go. There's a little bit more of a rumor mill. We will see. But yeah, let's talk Silverstone.
Okay, so we have Silverstone coming up this weekend, which is in Northamptonshire, England. It's first Grand Prix track, which was in 1950, the very first official Formula One championship race. There are 52 laps. So the track length is 5.8 kilometers long. The race distance is 306 kilometers long. Top speed around 330 kilometers an hour. Famous sections are Maggots, Beckett's, and Chapel. Is I say that right with the right accent? Okay.
Yep.
We got Corpse Corner and Stowe. High speed right after Hangar Straight. The layout character is high speed and flowing, requires strong aero and tire management. Weather factor, could be crazy. Who knows? Always a chance of rain and wind. Most wins is Lewis Hamilton. 2020 moment, Hamilton won on 3 wheels after a last lap tire failure. And fun fact, the track was built on a former World War II Royal Air Force airfield.
Huh. Lewis also won last year.
He did. He has magic. He has the magic.
Last year was the three Brits were on the podium, correct?
Yes.
That was last year,
Yeah. So Silverstone is really close to me, probably 20-minute drive. It's mega. I love it. I went to a track day there just a couple of weeks ago with Pirelli. Actually, they're doing these posh Pirelli track days, and I got invited. So I had the least posh car there. I had a Honda Civic Type R, but it was great. The scale of the place is monstrous, so it's very different from Red Bull Ring. It feels huge when you go in. Unfortunately, for spectating, it's probably not as good because it's quite a flat track based at, like you say, an old Air Force base. But as a challenge to drivers and high-speed aerodynamics, it's right up there with the very best tracks. I think to drive an F1 car is probably Suzuka, Spa, Silverstone are probably the top 3. And it's just, it's amazing. Some of the 7th gear flat out turns, the direction changes. Plus there'll be 350,000 people or whatever turn up because it's such a huge festival. There'll be people camping for 4 or 5 nights before. It's just a whole thing. It takes over the whole town. It's super cool. It's a great race. I'm excited for that one.
It's at the top of my wish list of races to go to that I haven't been to.
It is awesome. And it's, it's just... The development at Silverstone over the years is cool. It's it used to be a nightmare. People would sit in traffic for hours. The car parks were all fields, and it would rain, and it was just muddy. Everyone would get stuck. It was a disaster. But the infrastructure is actually pretty good now. It should be good. It's actually super hot in the UK at the moment. It's 30 degrees, so it's 85, nearly 90 degrees. But I'm just having a quick look at the forecast, and it looks like there is a good chance of some rain. So we've had almost no rain in the UK for weeks, which is bizarre. So maybe we're due a big rainy race, which could mix it up. They could really mix it up. So that would play into Max's hands, play into Lewis's hands. So who knows? I guess we should do our P10.
Mm-hmm. Who's first? I'll go first.
Yeah, Matt, you were last time, so you should go.
Piastri first, obviously. P10, I'm going to go Hülkenberg.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
I'm going to go Lewis for the win. Back-to-back Silverstone. He's got to get one. This is the one.
That would be great.
This is the one. I'll go Bortoletto for P10.
That's a good one, too.
Wow, you're both going for kick Audi, Sauber, whatever the hell they're
Who would have thought?
Okay, I'm going to go Lewis as well because I'm just an old romantic for Lewis and Silverstone. It has to be P10. God, it's actually P10's got really tricky, hasn't it? Because the midfield
it's changing every race. Yeah,
so much.
Completely. Like it could be Lewis. Like he could win or he could get P10. We don't know.
Yeah, it's really, really strange. I'm going to go Albon.
Yeah,
he's the one guy that's not in the mix. he's the one guy that rarely has a chance.
Where's he going to be?
He's either getting 7th or 18th or DNF.
I think they're going to be in the bottom again. They look terrible.
Well, they said that they're only developing next year's car, so I can't imagine it's probably going to get worse as the year goes on.
I think Williams, when they're good, they were like P6, P7, but now everyone's sort of caught them up. So I'm thinking if Albon has a good race, P10 could be like the ceiling of what maybe they're up to. So let's see. Okay, so at this point, Dax would say push, 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 push. We will just say Silverstone's coming up. It should be awesome. It always is. And we will speak after an epic race won by Lewis Hamilton.
Go Lewis.
Maybe.
Oscar.
See you guys.
See ya.